Hi, I'm Alan Green. Welcome to Backpacker Dad. Now today we're going to be looking at the GeerTop one-person tent. It sets up with hiking poles. It only weighs 2.8 pounds and only costs $100. Now does this lightweight bargain live up to the hype? Well, I've spent a little time with it and I'm going to give you some pros and cons and what I think, and I think you'll be surprised. Coming up next. Stick around. Hi, this is Alan Green and welcome to Backpacker Dad. Today I've had enough time with this tent to give you what I really think about it. Now it's only $100 off of Amazon, and it is Chinese made, so you know it's a knockoff probably, but it's a 20D sil nylon tent that only weighs 2.5 pounds, or 2 pounds, 8.7 ounces, I believe. You'll see in the picture there. But I weighed it, and that's including the tent stakes. The tent stakes, this actual bag I made, it's a Cuban fiber. I got into making some stuff sacks, some DIY, and I got 3 guy wires extra and I think 10 or 12 tent stakes. I think they give you 12 or 14 tent stakes with it. Anyway, a lot of tent stakes. So it's a real reasonably priced tent. It's made out of 20D sil nylon, sort of. And see here, we have it's kind of small. You know, I'm 5'11", so I notice this kind of droops. I guess there's a few things that I still have to do to figure this out. But the thing I don't like now but that's with sil nylon in general, is that when it gets wet, it kind of sags. That is the drawback, but it's a great tent. I've had the tent in some rain. I've went through some rainstorm. Dry, totally dry. I feel real confident in using this tent in any kind of weather. And I even think high winds and stuff, if you pitch it right, you won't have a problem. Now the other thing is since it does go together with hiking poles, you will need to, it's not a freestanding tent. You'll need to learn to work your guy wires and stuff. And then like after the rainstorms, you get up and your tent's saggy and you got to tighten it up. But that's with any sil nylon. The tub is.
We interrupt this program because it has come to the attention of the producers of this program that our presenter was in fact given the wrong measurements. The true measurements of the tub floor are as follows: 35.43 inches or 90 centimeters wide by 82.67 or 210 centimeters long. And now back to our regularly scheduled review programming.
And it's kind of it's a mosquito mesh, and I like it because the doors are on each side. You can go out either way, so you can set it up. You don't have to keep in mind which way you set it up. The vestibules are spacious. They're really pretty good size. I kept my pack and my stuff all under there, and it rained and it stayed dry. And the cool thing about this tent as well is that you can take and use just the interior. You don't have to put the second layer on, and it's a very, very lightweight then. But you know, that's like if you're camping and it's not going to rain, and you know there's no chance of any rain, but you want to see the stars, you can just set it up without the rain fly. But the rain fly, or you can set up the rain fly and even, you know, make it lighter with nothing underneath and still, you know, get lightweight. And another good thing about this tent is that the top where you set the hiking poles, the nylon has an opening that kind of sets in there. So it's holding your poles crossed like this. It's holding them. The nylon is, so they're not going to slip out and go down, because they kind of they do an angle. They kind of made to set. They're not straight like this. They set at an angle, but I had no problems with it setting it up. It was easy to set up. Now the cons and the reason I will not be taking this tent with me on the Appalachian Trail is it's small, and you got to get used to that. If you're a very minimalist, it's no problem. I mean, but I like to bring stuff in my tent, and by the time, it says 43 inches wide, but by the time you get your pad in there and you're laying in there, there's not a lot of room for anything on the, you've got a little room on each side, but not a lot of room to bring in you're not gonna bring your backpack in your tent. And that's the biggest issue I have with this tent, is it's just too small. And it's not freestanding, so, you know, but that's because that's the price you pay for doing that. And Jordan, he wants a freestanding tent, so he's actually got a freestanding tent and a bigger tent. I let him use this tent, and he was the same way. He did not like how small it was. But I will say, for a tent that's $100, this is a great deal, especially if you don't mind staying in a small tent. But this tent will get you through it. I mean, if I had to use it, it's not a problem. I opted to try a bigger tent because honestly, you know, after sleeping in it, you know, 6-7 days, I said, you know, I'm not going to be able to do this a whole week every night. And you can't hang anything to dry. I will give you a review of the tent I replaced it with. You know, that will probably be the tent I use. Now, I also tried a hammock. Yes, indeed. And I didn't spend a ton of money. Now, with any of this, I'm not spending a lot of money. You know, the tent I really want is, you know, $600, but I can't afford that. So I am kind of trying to find a tent that meets my needs, or a shelter. Now, like I said, the hammock, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm still working the way out, and I will probably do a video on it, and there's some great video online of guys like by the name of Shug. If you look it up, I'll put a link. If you wanna know anything hammock, this guy, and he's entertaining, and he's come from a circus background, which is kind of sentimental to my heart because I have friends that spent time with Ringling Brothers Circus, and so this guy is entertaining. If you're into wanting to find out about hammocks, I am learning it, so I'm watching him. Go check Shug out. That is the skinny. I think if you don't mind it being a small tent, this is a great tent for $100, and it's only $100, and it's very light. And I think you could probably, I haven't had it in real high winds yet, but you know, the rainstorms that I've been in, it's kept me dry and kept my gear dry, and I think it's a great deal. The GeerTop 1-person tent, if it's right for you, like I said, the only thing I don't like is the size. But check it out, and I'll see you next time on Backpacker Dad.